So I'm delighted to be introducing two colleagues from DPD. They're going to talk about the exciting options for out-of-home and home final mile delivery. So guys, would you like to introduce yourselves and explain your role in DPD, and then we'll get into the discussion.
Yes, so I will start. My name is Hervé Crochet. I'm working at Geopost. Geopost is the mother company of the brands DPD, BRT, Chronopost, PD, and Seur. And I'm heading the sales team who is managing the strategic accounts of our group.
My name is Wouter van Keulen. I'm working for the subsidiary of Geopost. It's called Pickup. And Pickup is the operator of the French out-of-home network, but also the core developer of all the out-of-home, let's say, solutions we offer to all the BUs, business units, across Europe. Okay. And I'm heading the international development.
Brilliant. Thanks, Hervé, for pulling me up on it. So actually, Geopost is the umbrella brand. And below Geopost, you've got DPD, Chronopost, Seur, BRT, etc.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, my mistake, sorry.
Part of a big family.
Yeah, exactly. Right, guys, let's kick off. Take us through the journey of the next 40 minutes. So explain, let's set the scene with some numbers, some statistics.
Maybe I can ask you a first question, John. You have some history in the parcel industry, and you were at the beginning of the e-commerce. How was the delivery at that early stage?
In the early stages, I remember in 2008, at the time, approximately 10% of deliveries were to home, to consumer, and about 90% were B2B. And the big decision that all the parcel companies faced at that time was, do we stick with B2B where you can make money because you have density of drops, there's somebody who's always in, there's never a problem. You can park the van and then do 5 deliveries and everything was economic and you could make decent margin? Or do you pursue this crazy B2C world where you can't make money because the consumers are working, they're not at home, you have to go back again, it's 5 kilometers between each delivery and so on. The economics don't add up. But what DPD recognized, I think all the parcel companies recognized this, around that period, was that the market is going B2C. We heard yesterday Amazon, 30 years old, and probably Amazon more than any other brand has changed the shopping behavior. So now B2C, I don't know, maybe you can share this with us, what the proportion is these days, but I'm sure it's way more than 10%. So historically, it wasn't great. And the parcel companies have had to respond in the last, I guess, 20 years, really, to be better at it.
Yeah, you're right. And if I may share this information, today, 50% of our deliveries are 2C and 50% are 2B. It's half and half. But it's true that at the beginning, 2008, carriers were using their 2B, let's say, standards to deliver to home. They were coming the first time, then the second time, or a third time. And when the people were not there, they were putting the parcel in an agency, very, very far away. Or you could have a postman trying to deliver, it was not available, but going to post office, then the consumer had to go to a post office. So there was a former time. But now with the development of out-of-home, which is multi-phase actually, because we talk about post office, parcel lockers, parcel shops, delivery to neighbors, but also delivery to the retail stores. So this has really, really evolved.
Okay.
And the figure we were showing here is that now home delivery is still the first preferred delivery option. However, 44% of the consumers are having deliveries to out-of-home, so to those different places. And since 2019, this has increased by 13 points. So very, very rapidly. And what we see also is that those consumers who go and pick up their parcels in out-of-home different places, they have quite some experience into the e-commerce because they are buying online for more than 10 years for 38% of them. And on average, the shoppers is 34% are buying online for over 10 years. So it means that out-of-home shoppers have quite some experience. Also, what we see is they put more, let's say, reviews on the websites in that respect, and they use also more mobile phones. So really, they're kind of more e-commerce savvy. Those people, consumers who buy.
These percentages. Is this from your tracker survey?
Yes, we have a survey for the last
size?
7 years. We are running a survey across Europe. We interview 24,000 e-shoppers across all Europe, and we interview them on their whole journey from searching to buying and delivering and up to the returns. Because if I may add, also in the former time, the returns, whether you were going to a post office or you were waiting this collection at home, and you were waiting what? A day for the parcel carrier to try to come and get your parcel. And this has really changed with the out-of-home developments.
Okay.
And especially the past years, COVID had a big impact on the increase of the out-of-home deliveries. But also the latest generations, they are more in demand of delivering the parcel to a parcel shop instead of staying at home. So yeah, it accelerated a lot. Amongst, of course, the home delivery, which is still the most preferred delivery option for consignees.
Okay. So, I mean, you're going to share shortly some more about the CX, the customer experience. And one thing that occurs to me is, particularly parcel shops, and we'll maybe come on to this question later, that you've got three core stakeholders. You've got the shop, the retailer who's selling a product. You've got the shopper who buys that product. And then you've got the convenience store, typically, who is a parcel shop. Okay. And I'm curious about what you do to bring those guys on board. How do you identify them? How do you know when you're ready to drop in another parcel shop in this zip code area?
Yeah.
Because you've got to really understand the data and
This is a very interesting one. Because the success of, for instance, an out-of-home network, of the convenience of it, it's all depending not on the size, but on the density of the network. As long as you're close to your shippers and your consignees, you can offer a brilliant offer. If you're not, they have to take the car and travel, for instance, for a few minutes or maybe 15 minutes.
So what's your target? Is your target to have an out-of-home option, locker box, parcel shop, within a 5-minute drive, a 5-minute walk, a 10-minute drive, a 10-minute walk? What's your target?
We always talk about slipper distance.
Sorry?
Slipper distance.
Oh, slipper.
Flip-flops.
Flip-flop distance. Okay.
Slipper distance.
Hands up if you've heard of slipper distance. No?
No?
Yeah, a few. I've never heard of that. Okay. Slipper distance.
Slipper distance.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So help me. What is slipper distance then? Is that like 5-minute walk?
Let's say a 5-10 minutes walk.
Okay.
Around
So
that,
so that's your target. So you're always reviewing and adding and...
yeah. So if we add a location somewhere, it's always about density. So we calculate with a lot of systems, solutions. We're able to determine, especially in which area, how many parcels will land the upcoming days or the upcoming periods. So we know exactly in which area, based on zip codes, where to place a locker. And in that solution, we also know the slipper distance. So based on the balance between the volumes and the slipper distance, we deploy the network. But the parcel shop or the locker is also limited on quantities, because some parcel shops would like to have 20, 30 or 40 parcels per day. That's, let's say, the max for them to operate, because otherwise it cannibalizes their normal business. So if we see that volumes are, for instance, increasing in these locations, we open directly a new location in the area in order to balance it well. So there's a good balance for the retailer, for the location owner, and of course for the consignee, the slipper distance, and to bring a good balance and to add some convenience.
So you got so have you got evidence that if I have a convenience, let's imagine I have 5 convenience stores, in let's say in the Berlin area.
Yep.
Right? And I want to open it up to parcel shops.
Yep.
Can you demonstrate to me that I will get more volume, more slippers walking into my store to buy my products?
For sure. Yeah.
Because I guess you pay me also to handle the parcel, a
Yep.
small amount maybe,
Yep.
but also I'm doing it to get increased sales. So they'll buy the milk, they'll buy the beans and so on, right?
Yep.
Have you got evidence that this actually happens?
Yeah, we have evidence. Of course, it depends per country. Every country is having his own approach and his own market needs. We have many partners where we measure the conversion rate, for instance, on our traffic, what we bring to their locations. So we know exactly how many additional turnover they create upon our traffic. So that's very good. Another interesting example. In Italy, for instance, our out-of-home network over there, if you want to become a PUDO over there, you have to pay us.
Wow.
So it's even the other way around.
So they pay you to become a PUDO?
Yep.
Okay. Okay.
That's interesting, though.
How much do they pay you? Is that confidential?
It's confident. It's not a large amount of money, but still, they pay a bit.
Okay, and I guess it's a turnkey solution. So if whether I pay you or not, you then provide all the scanners, the hardware.
Yep.
And does the shop need to have Wi-Fi? And
No.
No. Okay, you've got all the kit.
All the kits, and we try to ease it as much as possible.
Okay. So my final question from the shop, from the retail, the convenience store perspective is: so you've demonstrated to me that I will get additional upsell for my own products as they come in to collect the parcel. They'll buy the milk. But when I start my first 5 stores, one of the problems is I need volume immediately, and who trains my staff so they get it all right and that the customer experience is as it should be. Because if I have 1 parcel a day, maybe I don't get it into muscle memory. Yeah.
This is especially during COVID time, when the volume increased a lot. It overloaded a big part of our network, and it led to a high churn of parcel shops who were saying, we're receiving way too many parcels, this is ridiculous, and it doesn't support our business, etc., etc. So we learned from that. So we have a lot of systems who are based on algorithms in which we can expect what will be the volumes, for instance, an upcoming period, so we can forecast the volumes for that location. And especially on the locker domain, this is very important because, you just have a limited capacity for a locker. You can't just, in the PUDO it's easy, you can drop off the parcels more, and of course the parcel shop will not be very happy about it, but for the locker it will be, it is more important. So therefore we build up some systems so we can predict the upcoming volumes, but we also can calculate, forecast everything on longer term and on short term.
Yeah.
In order to bring it in balance, for instance, in this case with the parcel shop or with the locker, in case of the locker, not to stand in front of a locker and that you're not able to deliver the parcel, or in the parcel shop to overload that parcel, so the parcel shop will be unhappy.
I got you. So, do you want to walk us through the on-demand efficiency and traffic for this next slide?
Yes, one of the key elements for out-of-home is bringing convenience to the consumer because of the distance, which is the ideal as short as possible. So it's another destination for the consumers to be delivered, but also, when they even ask for a home delivery with our notification service, they can also choose before the delivery to be also delivered into a parcel shop or a parcel locker. Mm-hmm. So really out-of-home brings some convenience for the consumer. Definitely it does, yeah. So bring more options, putting, let's say, the consignee in the driver's seat. As we mentioned also, there is some convenience or some benefits for the shops also for being a parcel shop. We could also say that there is some convenience for the small merchants who sell through marketplaces and have a few orders, but they don't have enough to have collection from the carriers. They can drop off the parcels in the parcel shops to directly deliver to the end consumer. So the convenience is at different steps. So the consignee, but also the seller who have a few parcels to ship, and also to the retailer stores.
Okay, that's interesting. So,
and may I add to this?
Yeah.
That one of the most important benefits of choosing an out-of-home solution is that you're in demand to collect the parcel when you want to. And maybe for the older generations, this is less relevant. But when you talk with the younger generation, they want to be in control. They don't want to be waiting at home for the parcel driver to drop off the parcel. Of course not. They want to be in control. So that on demand, that's for them very, very important.
Have you seen a change in the demographic, the makeup of the out-of-home users? Because a lot of people are working from home now. Maybe not every day, but maybe 2 days a week. So they might get business parcels delivered to a PUDO rather than their place of work. So has that also contributed to a change in your demographic, but also maybe an increase in volume?
I mean, COVID, we saw very strong peak in volumes for the consumers, to see deliveries for sure. Then with the fact that people were working from home, there was some switch, more home delivery than to the parcel shops. But in the meantime, because of the increase of the e-commerce, because people buy more online than before, I mean, the both home delivery and out-of-home delivery were growing together. So it was very difficult to really see the switch from one to the other one. The two were growing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Looking to that generation, we see a difference. And one of the drivers is, of course, the generation itself, but also Vinted accelerated it a lot. Vinted is one of the accelerators on the C2C out-of-home market. And which generation are making most use of Vinted, for instance, is the next generation. But not only Vinted, there are many other examples.
Well, we heard this morning, the panel discussion on the stage first thing this morning was about the circular economy.
Yep.
Yeah, and reusing and reselling back and so on.
And out-of-home delivery is more efficient in let's say, from operational perspective. Because for one stop, we drop off, let's say, 30, 40, 50 parcels. Instead of stopping at someone's home, dropping off one parcel. So it creates more efficiency. We are able to lower that price, and especially on C2C and or that circular economy. That's very beneficial, very important to offer a lower price. Because most of the times, let's say, a pair of jeans on Vinted roughly cost 10, 15 euros or something like that. So it doesn't make sense if you have to pay 5, 6, 7 euros to have it sent to home.
So just picking up something you said, Hervé, that so SMEs can drop off multiple parcels to a PUDO or a locker box to then enter the DPD system for multiple delivery, yeah? Do you give a better price? Because I'm doing the work, right? I'm coming to you with my parcels rather than getting a doorstep collection.
Actually, yes, when there is drop-off, in parcel shops more than lockers, because often they do drop off many parcels. Yeah, there is a price differentiation, definitely, it does, yeah. And yeah, for them, it's some real benefit also to be able to drop off when they want also. And coming back to the efficiency also, efficiency is also for the consumer, because, I mean, post offices, a lot of complaints were a lot of queuing. So parcel shops, because of those network, they have less, let's say, queue or no queue there. Then parcel lockers, especially for some people in younger generation, it's very easy, very efficient. It really fits their way of living. So there is this efficiency into receiving or dropping off parcels there.
Okay. Cool. I just want to ask the audience, just so we know who's got the green lights on here. How many of you guys are retailers? If you just raise your hands, just so I can see. So probably about 10, I think. If you're over there as well. Okay. And raise your hands. Do you guys use parcel shops or out of home locker solutions?
Let's say 2-shop service. Do you offer 2-shop?
So a couple do. So quite.
Not all of them.
Yeah, so probably 50-50. Okay, yeah, interesting.
And what I want to say to that audience who is not offering 2-shop, I can understand, because to home is convenient, is traditionally it's the most demanded from the consignees. But don't forget, you must reach your full audience, and if, let's say, 15 or 20% of your audience prefers to have their parcel dropped off in a PUDO, you also must listen to them.
Are you talking Gen Z and?
Also, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. So I can see the next slide is coming up.
Yeah.
The benefits. Talk us through the benefits.
Yeah.
Density.
Density. I always make fun of it. Size doesn't count. It's about density. Being closest to your shippers and consignees, way important.
So density is, I'm being pedantic now. Density is a feature. The benefit is proximity. It's a slipper distance.
Yep.
Yeah, to quote
Yep.
the new word I've learned today.
And what we also have seen from researchers is that by the increase of the PUDO networks the past years, the density increased, the slipper distance improved.
Yeah.
Therefore, the accessibility of going to a PUDO and making use of the PUDO services also increased.
Yeah.
So that's also one of the main drivers of the increase of out-of-home deliveries.
We've not mentioned returns. Really, you may have
Good
mentioned
point.
it briefly. So why is returns not one of your benefits?
It's one of them. That's why I was mentioning this at the beginning. It was quite a hassle in the past.
Yeah.
Now it's true that you don't have to wait for the whole day, for someone to carrier to collect at home. We did at DPD provide a 1 hour time window to improve this collection experience. But on top of this, now with this parcel shops network, parcel lockers networks, returns is much more handy and convenient than in the past, because you can, close by, or when you go to work or you return from work, you can drop off the parcels much more easily than in the past, when you had to go to a post office only or get a collection at home. So it's delivery and returns. Both of them are benefits for the consumers.
Okay.
And when we talk to the next part, which is localized approach, what we see that across Europe there are a lot of differences. There are two exceptions in Europe actually, where home delivery is not the preferred delivery option. First one is Poland, where is the first one. Second one is the Baltics actually, where parcel lockers are really the preferred delivery option. And then you see that for parcel shops, it's very much used in France, but also Czech Republic, Slovakia, even Bulgaria. And if we go in more details, you have retailer stores, click and collect, which is much more used. Third, preferred delivery places in Portugal and in France, for instance. So you see, across Europe, those localized approach are very different. So you need to really see Europe not as a unique, delivery out-of-home preference, but with some very specific ones.
Yep.
One of the things I just want to drill down a little bit, because one of the key potential problems, whether it's a locker box or a PUDO, is the parcel stays there too long. The shopper doesn't go to collect it on day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4. So what can you do to try and get them to come and collect it on day 1?
Let's say digitalization. The digital solutions are very important. To inform them on short term, to know when they are able to collect that parcel. That's the first one. The second one, long opening hours.
So how do you inform? Is it on an app, or is it a text message, or an
app.
email?
Yeah. If you have, for instance, an account on DPD, you have the application. You can be informed via the application.
So 1 second. So for the retailers here listening, does the consumer get told by them on their platform or through your?
Via our platform, in this case.
Okay.
Okay. But they also will be informed by email or by SMS. It depends on what the setup is.
They can choose.
Yes,
and it's a joint effort, because also the e-retailers, they're aware about our processes, and that can also, send emails for reminders, but we do also reminders, and that's very important. But one very interesting figure that I may share is across Europe on parcel shops, 55% of the e-shoppers collect within the same day. When we deliver to a parcel shop, they do collect the same day.
It's across the whole of Europe.
Yes.
Okay.
And one differentiation is with parcel lockers. 70% roughly of the people collect the parcels within the same day. So it's being pretty fast, actually.
Wow.
And I do believe that this difference between parcel shops and parcel lockers, because often the time that parcel are staying in a parcel shop is, let's say, 1 week, up to 2 weeks, depending on the countries. But for parcel lockers, it's half a week. So people know also that it won't stay so long. So they come quite fast to get the parcel.
So if a parcel, do you then take it out of the locker if somebody hasn't collected it?
Yeah, after it depends per country, but let's say roughly it's like after a week the parcel will be shipped a return. Yep.
Okay.
After sending several reminders, please collect your parcel. But one of the drivers, for instance, for why parcels also are collected, let's say the same day for lockers, why the higher on lockers compared to parcel shops, is that lockers are often placed in areas where you're able to collect that parcel 24/7.
Yeah.
So that's one of the main drivers if you want to increase. Well, we want to increase that same day collection, of course, not in order to create more efficiency, reduce costs, whatever, but to improve our customer experience.
Okay.
By offering locations which are longer open and available.
Okay. So, how do you cope with peaks like Black Friday and Cyber Monday and so on? I mean, I know we're trying to sort of flatten, but historically, peaks have always been a challenge for the parcel companies. Does having a dense PUDO network help with that, or make it even more complicated because you've got third-party estate to manage?
No, it makes it easier because, if the volumes increase, let's say 10, 20, 30% for a short period of time, and you inform them on short term, and you make an action plan together with the PUDO network, you are able to handle these volumes. We already did during COVID time, and then the volumes tripled. So, we know how to handle them. So it's quite convenient.
Can you just explain this phygital? So I've learned 2 words today. I've learned slippers and phygital. I'm assuming it's physical and digital, and you've mashed it together?
Yes.
Okay.
That's, the compound.
So just explain the phygital journey then.
What I explained about digital, the digital journey is very important to inform your customer on short term.
Okay, because you want them to come in and collect their parcel immediately, ideally.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and also when for instance a consumer knows I'm not at home, I want to redirect the parcel to the PUDO. That's also a digital journey. The physical journey is when the consignee comes, for instance, into a PUDO, and that journey should also be good, very good. So if you fill up a parcel shop with too many parcels, the consignee has to step in line and wait for a long time before he can collect the parcels.
Right.
That's also very important, and we are able to manage these volumes very, very strongly in order to increase the customer experience.
Cool.
Yeah, like you have the digital journey on the web, you buy on the web, and also you can, for the click and collect, go to the retailer store. So get this experience, which is online, but also physical within the store, the retailer, for instance.
That's really interesting. Just walk us through this. So room for growth. So how do you see the out-of-home growing? How do you see it expanding?
There's one element that you mentioned, Wouter, is the development of the circular economy and the C2C, the peer-to-peer, which is really a very strong driver. Fashion, but also on electronics, on furniture, in all the product categories. Yes, circular economy is developing, and parcel shops, shop-to-shop services are really an enabler also for this to grow. Definitely. Additionally, what we can say is, we talked about SMEs, because marketplaces, we see that they grow quite faster than the global e-commerce. So marketplaces, meaning many sellers, selling on marketplaces, and a lot of them are small ones. And as I mentioned, the fact that they only sell a few parcels, let's say, per day, they can drop off in the parcel shops because they cannot be eligible for collection at their premises because it has a higher cost for this. So this is an enabler, parcel shops or parcel lockers for the drop-off, to enable SMEs to sell more and to sell through marketplaces, for instance.
And that brings us a big challenge, because you can imagine if a SME is shipping, for instance, on a daily basis 15 or 20 parcels and drops this every day off in his parcel shop on slip a distance, the parcel shop will be overloaded and will not have the benefit of, for instance, the conversion into their own turnover. So that brings us the challenge: how can we build up propositions for this SME to offer them a good solution where they can easily drop off their parcels, high amounts, volumes, and so on. So we have business points in most of our countries, where especially for those SMEs to drop off those large amount of parcels, which have a long opening hours, a late collection moment.
Just to describe these, are these like super pudos or something?
Yeah, super pudos.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. And typically, if I was, would you advise a customer and say, okay, with that volume, you need to go to this?
Yeah, for sure. Because otherwise, most of the time in most of the countries, you're depending on the collection moment of the carrier.
Yeah.
We decide, okay, we're in your area at this certain time of the day. Yeah, and that's not comfortable. And in this case, okay, if I drop off my parcel before 5 o'clock at this location, and it's, let's say, just 5-10 minutes away from my location, it's very beneficial for me. Dropped it off today, tomorrow delivered.
So, okay, because this sounds really interesting. It's a bit the point you made earlier, Hervé. So, and you make this economically attractive as well, because essentially they're doing your job, right? You don't have to collect, they're coming and bringing it to you.
Yep.
So the price that they would pay would reflect.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. We've not mentioned sustainability at all, and I know it's a big thing at Geopost. So obviously there's this very old debate about which is more green, the courier delivering to the home, or the person from home going to the pudo, because they're driving and so on. So where do you sit on this? We've now got 15 years of data on this. So where do you sit on that? Which is more sustainable?
It depends. It all depends on one thing. That's how close are you to your shipper and your consignees. If you don't have a dense network, in some areas it doesn't benefit to your sustainability goals. Can you imagine your pudo parcel is dropped off in a pudo 15 minutes away from your home? What do? You take your car. So where's the sustainable effect? Nowhere. So
you're saying that to be sustainable, it has to be a dense network.
It has to. That's the first one. And the second one, you need to electrify your whole fleet and your whole line haul, the whole chain. So it's not only about consolidation of these parcels, bringing more sustainable solution. No, it's a mixture of more ingredients than only a pudo network.
Okay, interesting.
So in the past we also said it's the most green delivery solution. It could be, but we're a little bit more like, okay, guys, we're not only focusing on a dense network, but also on make our whole system green. So the line hauls, the vans, everything.
Okay. Do you try and encourage the shopper to choose a pudo or a locker box that they would naturally go to in their course of business? So you've altered, because the perfect scenario is I'm going there anyway. Yep. And I pick up the parcel when I pick up the milk, or when I pick up something else, when I go and pick the kids up from school. So do you proactively try and encourage that kind of sustainable behavior?
Of course, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what are you doing in terms of going forward, in terms of making the customer experience even better? I moderated a group yesterday with Carissimo, and I know part of the same group, and they talked about almost double authentication with a barcode and PIN numbers and stuff like that. Very exciting what they're planning, or what they've just launched. What innovations have you guys got in mind for the customer experience, for the shopper?
Yeah. First of all, let me talk about density. It's very it looks very easy, but it's quite challenging, because not in all areas we're able to put, let's say, a parcel shop, because there's no retail. So we have an alternative. Let's say it's a locker. But not in all areas you're able to place a locker or a standalone locker. So we are for instance, in the Benelux, you have neighborhood points. It's interesting. So you can open that. They're like private persons who are collecting the parcels for their neighborhood, and you can collect your parcel from their own location, from the home address.
And this is part of the Geopost out-of-home network.
Some networks make use of these networks. Yeah. So every market is looking for how can I be closest to my shippers and my consignees, and that brings challenges. For instance, on lockers, because you want to place a locker, but I don't have electricity. What do? I put a battery inside of it. Yeah, but the battery only lasts 2 years. Let's put some solar panels on top of it. Okay, then all of a sudden, Groene Fresh in France says, yeah, but we would like to have also delivery on fresh deliveries. Okay, let's innovate on that. So we're even innovating now on refrigerated parcel lockers, which are battery and solar driven. So the whole innovation part on out-of-home is going rapidly. In all the countries, with a different approach, all in order to increase your density and improve your service offer.
Yeah, and with the maturity of the market or out of home, the idea also is to segment and provide much more customized offers to different products. You mentioned about the fresh products. We could have fresh compartments in some lockers. But if we talk about also furniture or large items, we do have C'est Chez Vous in France, where they have 600 parcel shops for very large items. And it's amazing how people find ways to go to a parcel shop, which handles very, very large parcels, find some ways to get it, in a car whatsoever, to get it back to home. Because, like deliveries from a furniture shop, let's say, to you is very, very expensive. So this requirement for this large parcel shops network is here, and we see that in France. So we will need to be more and more specific across the product categories, and this is how the market will evolve, I believe.
Interesting. What's your final point there? Societal benefits at ease. I'm getting from the animation, people meet, it's social to go and collect a parcel, and is that what you mean by that point?
Societal is in a way that when we think about out of home, is often for the consumer only, but not only, because we mentioned a lot about those stores. We participate through the parcel shops networks to keep, the economical system of stores in the cities and so on. So societal meaning that the out of home is not only for consumers, for sustainability, but also for the viability of some of the stores of the economy, let's say. So out of home is broader than only deliveries or returns. There is a kind of ecosystem behind there that out of home, which was not existing 15 years ago, now is included into the economy.
Okay, interesting point. Do you want to share? Is that your final slide?
Yeah, yes. Final. Yeah.
Should we have a look at that?
Final slide. No, it's a call action. Visit us at our stand, actually.
Is that
A60? Yeah.
I couldn't see what it says. Okay. Well, I got some more questions for you anyway.
Yes,
so, what next then? In terms of, we've talked about density. I know you're going to constantly look at the data, and you're going to be making sure you have an optimum dense footprint in every country. You've already explained to the group that you have a locally adapted solution, neighborhood stores. You have larger drive-in stores for the bigger SMEs and so on. But what next? How are you going to evolve this? Is it?
It's about adjusting our solutions to the local market. Exactly. That will be one of our main challenges. And the other ones is managing these volumes in order to maintain our customer experience. Because if we don't react on this, for instance, use new technology in order to operate the parcels, that they're going to the right address at the right moment, that we not overload locations and so on. With the upcoming volumes, which will be ahead of us, because more and more there's a strong demand on out-of-home delivery. The customer experience will go down. So we need to improve in order to improve our operations.
Yeah, density, and now also we see that there are smaller lockers that are available or with solar panels, so we have more flexibility to providing in different locations or more density. We see also that the new generation, the Gen Z, they are more using the out-of-home solution, for instance. So there will be more and more demand. The idea also is, to work on mobile, let's say, parcel lockers. So and we could even think about some B2B, let's say, purposes, because if you have construction sites where you have no real address because the new building there, but there are a lot of people working there, you could have some parcel lockers over there, so you could deliver for the to be, because it could be some spare parts whatsoever, but also for the people who are working there. So the idea is to have to be, I don't know if it's a word in English, versatile, but more flexibility, more precision, more adaptation in the future.
Okay. So we're sort of running low on time now, and the other two are finished. So any final thoughts? Each of you, your final thoughts about the whole out-of-home experience in terms of, let me ask you, put it a different way. If you had a magic wand and you could make one thing happen, what would it be? How would you improve it even more?
I mean, for me, the reality of the consumer is they want to have the choice. Providing the choice, is different solutions. What we mentioned, home, out of home is very diverse, being localized, and be also more and more sustainable. That's for me, that's part of the future and what's
And if there's a retailer sat in the room who's interested in their network becoming part of your network, how do they go about having a conversation with you? Come visit you on the stand? Is there a criteria they have to meet in order to qualify?
No, they don't, because we have multiple solutions in which we can partner up with retailers in order to support them, for instance, on the logistic part, offering to shop returns and so on. In their locations, in our locations, we can either build up partnerships for becoming a parcel shop or placing lockers. Everything is possible. Almost everything is possible.
Okay.
But we prefer to listen carefully to the retailer and investigate how we can build up a strong relationship which works from both sides.